the head of Facebook thinks that his water is kept in his scrotum. Boy, we've got a bigger fucking problem than we thought.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio Podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spinning out into the infinite abyss. My name is Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and nomadic, or I guess my co-host and nomadic brother, Joseph.
The road is long. Just over the horizon. We had no idea what would be there. Anyway.
Yeah, dude. In the motherfucking house, boy.
Yeah.
So it's official. I'm officially going to be located on. I mean, they say the West Coast is the best coast, but the East Coast is the East Coast for sure. You know.
No true words have been spoken.
And guess what, man? I'm making muffins in this bitch. Or no, wait. I guess you don't use yeast in muffins.
Yeah,
I'm making a
big
ass loaf of that tasty bread.
I'm gonna get some of that real good, that sourdough.
The trick with your yeast is you gotta let it do its work.
You gotta give it that TLC.
Nice. So it's cool though, right? Because I think our bandwidth, fig and lit, figuratively and literally, is gonna be a little bit more now that we're both on the same coast, which is cool.
Yeah, rock and roll. Yeah, it'll make recording a little bit easier considering the 3-hour time difference is no longer a matter. So
it totally will. And the cool part is, you and I have. We've got you and I have got friends. We've got friends in L.A. and Seattle. We've got them over in Hawaii. We've got some friends up in the Bay. We've got some friends down in New Orleans and New York. So we paint with a broad brush. So we'll continue to get some good perspective. But it's gonna be fucking cool, man.
So do you think that it could be like pretty easily summed up with? We got friends in low places.
That's exactly right. That's the exact song that came to mind. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let me do a good timestamp going. All right. So, anyway, so yeah, dude, let's kick this shit off.
Right. So, I guess it is homecoming season. Right?
Yeah.
And the competition is fierce.
The competition is high.
Yeah, there is high competition. That is true. So I remember, kids in our day, man. It was like a smile and a handshake and whatever, right? Like it was actually this shit was a foregone conclusion, right? It was like the biggest jock dude, and then the chick with the hottest chick or whatever.
Yeah,
I was gonna go into some detail there, but the chick, the hottest chick in school, like they're the ones that got it, right?
Yeah, period.
And then
but we've got a Michigan cheerleader that decided to step up her game and really try to solidify the win.
So she thought the way to people's votes is through their stomachs and also psychoactive ingredients, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so do tell.
Yeah, so there's basically I pulled this article from Fox News, and the title was Michigan cheerleader accused of handing out pot brownies as bribe to win homecoming queen.
Tasty.
I was like, huh, okay. So yeah, this 17-year-old chick at Hartford High School in Michigan was basically found to, or the principal said that they were getting tips that there were possibly brownies that have been laced with marijuana oil.
Okay.
No, that's what the Hartford PD that was the statement they gave or whatever, and apparently she was selling them, and which this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest with you, but like she was selling them, but she also was packing them in like goodie bags for like the football team or whatever. And so they tried to like get all the brownies back before they were consumed, and they were only successful at procuring 3 of the 12 brownies that they said, and they said the rest may have been consumed. And I would say that that's a conservative statement in regards to the rest may have been consumed.
Yeah,
you
man.
know those fools were pounding that shit. So.
Yeah, of course. You can never get too high in high school.
Yeah,
You know?
but and I also thought that it was kind of funny that well, first of all, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna take this very seriously because obviously it's an illegal drug, and especially Michigan does not fall under the, or at least I don't believe it falls under the legal recreational use. Which even at that, is it 18 or 21 for that?
It's typically 21.
Okay, I wasn't sure. But anyway, so the article gets wrapped up with the girl accused of handing out the drug-laced desserts is in quotes out of state with her mother for a family emergency. So
Yeah, the family emergency is getting your ass thrown in the clink, dude.
Yeah, right. But I mean, she's 17, so she'll probably just get like a smack on the wrist or something.
So fun fact. Did you know that if you factor in geopolitical risk at scale, right?
Mm.
So like the issue of potential invasions from other countries and nuclear attacks and whatever, Michigan is the safest place to live in the United States.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, well, there are no large, important, sorry, Detroit, metropolitan areas. And the groundwater supply, I guess, is abundant. And
Wait a second. It is abundant, but isn't it also really funky? Isn't Michigan? Haven't they been dealing?
No. That was Flint. That was one place, Flint, Michigan. You know.
Yeah.
And that was Flint, Michigan. They've got lead in the water. Yeah, and they built this town on a lead graveyard. They've got a little lead in the water.
Yeah.
But anyway, safest place to live when you factor in these geopolitical risks. Let me see if I can pull that article down so people can take a look. But I guess it is not safe if you've got teenagers and you want to send them to school and make sure that they don't get high.
No.
So, you know,
yeah, dude.
right? Might be a little bit of trouble on that front. So okay. So the chick, she brings brownies. Everybody gets stoned. She's out of town on this medical emergency. I'm sure the cops are looking for her.
Family emergency.
Family emergency.
Yeah.
So the cops are looking for her, right?
Yeah. But I'd say this cop specifically is not, because he's too busy banging out on duty.
Let's go to this next article, man. This fucking cretin.
So
of a human. Go ahead.
So this article, like, I pulled it because I read the first like paragraph and I was like, this is like kind of fucking crazy. Well, then this is actually a sizable article, and dude, just bear with me, Joseph and listeners. Like this is a roller coaster of just shenanigans that were going down in Florida. So the article I pulled from the Miami New Times, which obviously I've never heard of the Miami New Times, so don't know about the credibility of this article. But God, if half of this stuff is even remotely accurate, then like it's some crazy shit. But anyway, so starting at the top, this guy, Officer Roland Clark, was accused. Well, basically locked an inmate, Darren Rainey, in a shower with scalding hot water as punishment for defecating in his cell. Okay, So
Wait,
Clark,
a little context,
yeah.
context. Before he was a cop, he was a prison guard.
Yes, sorry, jumped ahead of myself. Yeah, he was a Florida corrections officer. So, um, but anyway, so he locks this guy, this 50-year-old schizophrenic, in this shower that apparently in the correction facilities, they have like normal showers, and then they have showers that the officers or the correction officers can change the temperature of the water outside of the shower.
Okay.
Okay,
So by the way,
uh,
I was in the Clink in Long Beach,
what?
and I can attest to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I was only there for a night, but
You pooped in your cell? No, I'm just kidding.
I had to. I had no choice.
But anyway, so okay, wait, give me one second, man. Anyway, so they lock him in this cell, and they turn the water on like insanely hot, and they left for 2 hours. Okay, and dude's like screaming and everything. When they come back, he's dead. And so they once they took the body in to do like the autopsy and everything, not mortician, what would it be?
The coroner.
Coroner, yeah. But the coroner found that literally his skin in certain areas was sloughing off, like he had been burned so bad. Okay? So this dude was just like, I mean, he was tortured to death, period, you know? And, which I don't know if this is, I'm assuming this is not normal practice, so, but anyway, so fast forward 2 years from that, and he ended up resigning from the Florida Corrections, or as a Florida Corrections officer, and ended up getting a job with, let's see, who was it? It was the Miami Gardens PD in 2014. Okay, so this dude, clearly he's, doesn't have a clean record, or a clean sheet in regards to being a good officer, whether it's corrections or police officer. So during this stint as a Miami Gardens police officer, he crashed his truck into, he basically ran a red light, hit this dude or whatever. He was the reason for the accident because his light was red, the other dude's green. Okay. He also called in for a drowning victim's car to be towed without searching the car for any kind of evidence that could help with the investigation in the drowning. Now, inside the car, the drowning victim's wallet and cell phone was in there. But then once they actually started the investigation, they go to the car at the like tow lot or whatever, and it's missing. So it's like two pieces of evidence that I would think would be pretty crucial for, an investigation. So fast forward a little bit more. I mean, this dude is just a garbage fucking police officer,
It just sounds like a bad human.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he gets accused of going to meet up with like women when he's on duty. First of all, this was back in 2016, and he was suspended for that. So then, and I love that they added this in there. It didn't stop him from being a finalist for the 2017 Miami-Dade County Officer of the Year Award. So this dude was a finalist, okay? Yeah. So fast forward a little bit more. He started getting complaints again that he was basically going to visit this girl named Kamisha Douglas, and I mean, dude's already married, so this was his side piece. We'll refer to her, Kamisha.
Okay.
And So they end up coming up with like photos of them, like, you know, when she lived in this area that was completely like opposite of where he was supposed to be patrolling and all that jazz. And so they started like an internal affairs like investigation. Well, they had all this like evidence that it was just like he was lying to him, she was lying to him, you know. And it was just an absolute like mess or whatever. Well, so then the lady that Kamisha, who is his girlfriend, she contacts his actual wife and is like lets her know that, you know, she's like, I didn't realize or whatever. Well, then she ends up recording a conversation between Kamisha and Officer Roland. And dude, I'm just gonna go ahead and read read the quote because it's just like it's pretty incredible. So he said, "Look what my side bitch did to me. That bitch tried to get me fired, 'cause she know I can't come round there acting crazy with her 'cause I'm an officer. So this hoe called anonymously saying, this nigga be coming to my house."
Wait, hold on though.
And fucking me on duty.
Hold on.
Yeah.
He didn't write this on social.
No. She recorded it. She recorded the conversation and then gave the recording to the wife, who the wife gave to like the investigators.
Right.
I mean, dude, it's just like, this is like cops combined with like what's the guy that always has people fighting on his talk show? Springfield.
No.
Springer. Jerry Springer. That's what
Springer. Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's just like one of those stories come to life, man.
Right.
But anyway, so like all of that happened, and like dudes being investigated for just all of the just complete and utter misconduct. And the shit thing is earlier in 2018, because of the way that he, I guess, accidentally killed the inmate in prison, the family of the inmate has a civil lawsuit against the state, Clark, and I guess whoever else was involved for $4.5 million. So like, this fool is costing the state and state taxpayers an insane amount of money. But then, dude, and I'll wrap after this because obviously, these are the leading stories, so we don't want them to take up half the podcast or anything. But I mean, even after taking all that into account, he goes on to like basically defend Bill Cosby on his Twitter account, just saying stuff that it's like entirely inappropriate for a public, I guess not public official, but like a public employee, I guess, to say shit like this on social media. But
dude, I mean, it's.
I mean, like you said, he just sounds like an absolute terrible person. But
the biggest problem with this whole, so it's really easy to single this guy out and be like, man, what a fucking piece of shit, right? Or to single out some other cop who has, perpetrated some dastardly shit, like gunned down somebody that's unarmed, and it was like that son of a bitch in South Carolina where the dude is like running away from him. Yeah. And he just like hoses this guy and then plants a taser on him. And somebody was like recording the whole thing. So it's like easy to single these guys out and say this, but here's the bigger issue with cops is that the qualifications to be a cop are low because the position doesn't pay shit, right? Yeah. For the most part. And so the people that you get in there are like, there are many exceptions. There are many good cops, right? Yeah. But man, then when you get a bad one, it's like,
oh, it's the worst of the worst.
Well, it's insane because it's just a moron who is now on a power trip.
Yeah.
And that's a weird place to be.
But so I'll wrap this with this quote from his Twitter profile, like defending the Bill Cosby rape case or whatever. He said, "I would act way worse than Cosby if I was wrongfully convicted of a crime and then accused of being a flight risk. I would be shot in court. I'm not going in a cage when I know I'm innocent. Kill me right here, but I'm choking this prosecutor first." This is a police officer that tweeted this. I mean, like, dude, it's
dude,
just...
can you imagine his boss is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know that the Miami Gardens, like, whatever PR person is just fucking like, I don't know what to do. Like, how do we deal with this guy?
Right,
like,
right,
you know.
right.
But
oh my god.
But yeah, dude, just absolutely insane. It's crazy that people like that not only exist, but exist in positions like that. So it's just insane, dude. Insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll cruise on from that, man, because with all of the with all this data acquirement and using data as payment and stuff,
we talk a lot about this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're cruising forward to, you know, and the future is paying with information more so than almost money kind of thing, or information being viewed as money.
This is some gray area in the conversation about cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm.
And as people continue to try to understand the usefulness of cryptocurrency and to understand exactly what it is,
mm-hmm.
The way to think about it at scale. Again, if somebody's coming into this and hasn't heard previous episodes, long story short, Daniel and I have worked in and around technology for a while. We're both kind of tech guys. Daniel's on the healthcare side. He's a registered pharmacist, and also just very interested in technology and video games and all that. And I work in fintech and have for a while. And have worked specifically in distributed systems since 2014. So that's just a little bit of context, right? But as people are beginning to understand, exactly what cryptocurrencies are and the usefulness of cryptocurrencies, the way to think about it is that a blockchain is just a really good tracking mechanism, right? Mm-hmm. And so as we think about put a lot on that T. Jeez. As we think about tokenizing data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And allowing he or she or the organization that has provided that data or created that data, allowing that kind of owner of value to be tracked in infinite directions and across insane complexity. That really is kind of the way to think about a cryptocurrency. So in quote, the world of the future, you very well may be exchanging literally that data, which has a value, and the way that you're exchanging that value, it is a cryptographically secured, currency, because currency is not just money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's really interesting, because I was thinking about this the other day. I've got a kind of partner in crime that I do a lot of writing with, and I was kind of chatting this idea out with him. Dude, Facebook's a bank. Like, that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
And so if you think about how valuable people's personal information is, it's insanely valuable. I mean, that is marketing dollars.
Well, dude, case in point, Cambridge Analytica earlier this year.
Dude, Cambridge Analytica. I mean, I've got some buddies. I guess I won't name, but I'll say that they worked for a company that was very similar to Cambridge Analytica. One of them is a data scientist now at a group that's doing some pretty interesting work. Actually, in healthcare. I'll offline, I'll have that conversation with you, Daniel, because I think you'll dig it. But so these are like data guys, right? They understand data pipelines. They understand, how database architecture is changing. And they understand this within the context of systems that make these massive data sets useful, namely, machine learning and kind of within that, the use of genetic algos and, supervised and unsupervised machine learning and all these buzzword, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anyway, that's just a little bit of context as to the perspective that Daniel and I come from on this. And so this article, the title of this article is "No Cash Needed at This Cafe. Students Pay the Tab with Their Personal Data." So this is a cafe called Shiru Cafe. It's in Rhode Island, and it's near Brown University, right? And so they offer, quote, free coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
I fucking love the way that people are using these terms, right?
Oh, dude, it's incredible.
These terms, I should say just the kind of line of approach of using a fucking word like free is just such a gross word.
Yeah.
But university students must give away their names, phone numbers, email addresses, and majors, or in Brown's lingo, concentrations. Students also provide dates of birth and professional interests, entering all the information in an online form. By doing so, the students also open themselves up to receiving information from corporate sponsors who pay the cafe to reach its clientele through logos, apps, digital advertisements on screen, in stores and on mobile devices, signs, surveys, and even baristas. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we say this a lot on this show, right?
Yeah.
But this is a formative motherfucking time when it comes to data and the way that people are thinking about data.
Yeah.
GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, which was this big deal in Europe this year. What was it this year? It was this year, 2017. I think it was this year.
Yeah.
It's like, has anybody noticed how every effing website you go to now asks you about cookies and tells you up front that, hey, we use cookies, click yes in order to be able to use the site?
Yeah.
Like what that is, if you really think about it, that is a data paywall. You are saying, take my data, and now that you're taking my data, they give you access, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so these systems that have been, the internet is largely centralized, fact, and these systems that have been monetized from the free protocol, the TCP/IP, the free protocol of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
The protocol itself was not monetized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what's been monetized are the on-ramps and off-ramps. And your fee is your data. I mean, it really, really is. I mean, yes, people pay for services and whatever online, but really your data and the data around you has created some of the companies that are the most valuable now. Netflix, that's what they do.
Hell, dude, Amazon,
that's,
I mean, like, it's like you get on you get on any of these webs. Okay, for instance, I looked up Chacos on Zappos. Every website that I went to the rest of the day had banners with Chacos on them.
right.
Literally every website, kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got a buddy. I've got a buddy who will do distance running. He and I will get up early in the morning and do some fair distance and on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because we were running through K-Town, through Koreatown in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like super early, none of the businesses are open. And he like looks up and there was like this random little Korean barbecue joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, why does that sound familiar? And so then he's like, dude, and this, by the way, this is not a crazy leap when you really think about it, but he's like, I MapQuested this route, or excuse me, MapQuest. Good God.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I used my TomTom. Hold on.
Tom.
Let me check my TomTom. No,
Dude,
what?
don't you know that Magellan's the new
Yes,
future?
I just dated myself first. Right? Hold on. Let me check my beeper. Friends outside with my SNES. But he was like, looked this up on Google Maps, and he was like, I've been getting ads for this restaurant since I Googled this route.
Wow.
So that's not that crazy, right? Like, okay, so Google says, sure, like you looked at this route, might be driving on this route, therefore we will serve you ads of restaurants that are on this route. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not super wild crazy, right? But like, my point is this shit is happening on every front, and like nobody's thinking about it, and so stuff like this.
Well, dude, but they market it so well. I mean, I do have to give, you got to give the devil his due, man. But I mean, it's literally, it's marketed as making your life easier and better,
So,
kind of thing.
but that will be the central question. I love how we're taking this cafe article and turning it into this deeper dive, but it's very, very true, and the timing is very appropriate. The central question is, how much are you willing to give up for convenience?
Yeah.
And that's it, because there is not a lot, if you have a job that's like right in the middle of the fairway, right? You don't have to make, $200,000 a year or whatever. You don't have to be, an accredited investor, right?
Yeah.
To live this lifestyle. Like, there's not a lot of thought that you really have to put into like the shit that you do day to day, right? Like, you can order your coffee on the app, the Starbucks app. You can order everything to your door. Like, all your bills are automated. Like, life is very, it's low lift for somebody in modern society in 2018, right?
Yeah.
And we've gotten there in this very kind of incremental way. And so it's just, again, like, are you willing to give up, information about yourself, which again, people will say, yeah, it's just my address or whatever. This shit's publicly available.
Are you willing to give up privacy?
Absolutely. Are you willing to give up privacy to have a better ad experience?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm not saying, sorry. That sounded like I was responding yes, but I'm agreeing with you.
No. And I didn't think.
Hell yeah, man. Give me the most accurate banner ads you can dish out.
That's the case, right? And so anyway, man, long story short, Daniel, I was telling you a little bit last night before we got geared up. There's some guys, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Atlanta, over the next year or so. And, there's some guys, and by spending a lot of time, I fucking live here. Let me make that clear. But, there's some guys that I was chatting with last night that are in the entertainment industry on the tech side, right?
Yeah.
And they were talking about some of their systems that they've been able to kind of map over for ad tech, to be able to track, like, is the click that these advertising companies are paying for the click that they're actually paying for, right? Because it's like a really complicated supply chain. Yeah. So the reason that I bring that up is that this is happening across this like wide swath of technology in general, where everybody's systems are tightening. And everybody wants, good data, right? Targeted ads cost more than untargeted ads, right?
Yeah.
And if you're targeting an ad, you want to make sure it's going to the right person. Well, great fucking way to do that, I guess, to bring this full circle, is to have a Brown student saying, this is me. I'm signing off that this is me. Here's my student ID number. Here's my name. Here's my address. Here's my email, my email address. And when those data points are connected, you start to build a profile. And as you add other data to this profile, you start to get this robust picture of who somebody is.
Yeah.
And so I know people think, well, it's just my email address or it's just my address. Yeah. Okay. But
Well, it's kind of like the whatever age old saying of like whatever pennies make nickels, nickels make quarters, quarters make dollars kind of thing.
It's completely true. And
Yeah.
data science is a mind roaster. Like
Mm.
you can take very little information and figure out a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so again, look, our just to wrap this article up, the world that we live in now, if you haven't been hacked, it's because nobody's tried.
Yeah.
I mean, that should give you an idea about how big the world is, how many people in it, are not after, don't want the best for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the truth. If you have not been hacked, it's because nobody's tried. And so in a world where OPSEC is that weak with most people,
Mhm.
don't give your shit out. Just don't do it. Like it's silly. And so now the problem is this type of behavior, like from Brown, is not illegal yet, right?
Keyword yet.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to see what you're going to see is more things to do with your identity be abstracted away from you, right? So it's like it's not that like you might go like there might be Joseph Bradley who goes into a Sears and Roebuck. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
Joseph Bradley who goes into a Hot Topic. To buy a fartinator. No, but goes into a store of some sort to buy a fucking Crate and Barrel, whatever. And instead of giving like my name and driver's license number or whatever, I might give like a random number that's been generated by Crate and Barrel for my Crate and Barrel identity. You know what I mean? So that it's not so that there are layers of abstraction away from my
who you are, basically.
My actual data set. Yeah. And so anyway, look, I'll wrap with this. The fact that we live in a place where the physical that we live at a time where there is more information that is stored in databases about you than you can possibly imagine, right?
Yeah.
However, this information doesn't know about the other information out there that exists about you, right? Said another way, it's just simply not connected. Okay.
Yeah.
So
but they're quickly figuring out ways to connect the data.
That is correct. And that is the world looking at it from the perspective of the back end, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Now, the front end manifestation of who you are is a fucking piece of plastic that your state issues you.
Yeah.
And you can use that to operate a 2,000-pound chunk of metal that is massive and dangerous. You can use that to prove who you are in a variety of different circumstances.
Yeah.
So we are in the very, very near future going to be close to a place, or I think we'll arrive at a place where driver's licenses. That's simply not how you.
It's just antiquated, man.
It is antiquated, but I'm telling you where they're going to go with it, man, is like there will be let's just make a quick prediction and then we'll truck on here.
Yeah.
There will be distributed systems that run at scale, supported by governments, and your ID will live in there.
Yeah.
And then as far as how you prove it's you, dude, I've read some really interesting research about just bio what's the term bio. I'm drawing a blank. We use like fingerprints and palm prints and all that.
Biometrics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Biometrics. Like you scan your eye or whatever. So it's either going to go that direction, or you're going to be able to have something implanted in your wrist that'll say who you are. And at that point, you'll have to have that shit to live in modern society, and the state will be real, right? And then people will understand just how deep this motherfucker goes. So anyway, we got a little off topic from the article here, but I just love this stuff, man, because I can't believe we are so fortunate to be able to think about and work on in a society where this is happening.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I'm telling you, your kid and your kid's kid, Daniel, will benefit from people working their asses off on these systems now and trying to, work towards the appropriate usage of this technology.
Yeah.
I can tell you some dipshit senator doesn't know.
Yeah.
And you do not want those guys deciding, what your data future looks like, because it's a big deal. So anyway,
Oh yeah.
we'll truck on, and our next article here.
Well, it was funny that you said,
I totally forgot about that. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was really funny that you said, you know what, if you haven't been hacked, it's because no one basically has tried.
Absolutely.
So, so moving on to the next one. Apparently someone did hack Facebook. So, and dude,
I read about this, but I didn't read any of the details, right?
Yeah.
Was this like was this hack at the corporate level? Were these people like phishing, accounts, and then in mass, they just phished a ton of accounts? What was the deal?
Yeah. Basically what happened was Facebook identified this bug in a feature that they have on the profiles that you can, which I believe, if I remember correctly, it's like a view as feature, so that you can say, okay, I want to view what my public profile looks like, and then I want to view what my private profile looks like, and you can view it as different things, so that you can actually check your security settings and see like if shit's being displayed that you don't want displayed, kind of thing.
Right.
And so they found out that there was some kind of bug that allowed hackers to get account access tokens. And so these account access tokens basically function as a way to keep you logged in, so that as you're going through your whatever, perusing Facebook and stuff, it keeps you logged in as one identifiable user, kind of thing.
Right.
Well, so these guys were able to, or I say these guys, these people or this person, and that's the other thing that's really scary about this whole situation, is that, dude, they still know like little to nothing about this hack. So they found out that at least 50 million user accounts were at risk for having access tokens basically stolen, kind of thing. So they were able to, if whoever had these access tokens were able to pretty much like look at your profile more so than what you would actually want displayed in the public, kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, I don't think that they had anything about like actually like being able to log in as you, kind of thing, and like make setting changes and stuff. But the point is that it was allowing them to gain information that the users were not saying that they wanted to allow the public to have, kind of thing. And so now you're gonna have to bear with me real quick. So they were able to get like information like name, gender, hometown, like cell phone numbers and stuff like this, that people obviously, you would probably opt out in having on your public profile. So they just kind of talk about the bug a little bit in this article. And the other thing is Facebook knew about this bug for not I don't think I was trying to remember exactly how long, but I know they said they found it earlier in the week and basically were not able to figure it out until after that the hack, kind of thing, how to deal with it. So anyway, I'm still not tracking exactly here. So this is a bug in a new feature that Facebook launched, and it made everybody's accounts vulnerable. People were able to exploit this bug and get more information. So basically, they were able to kind of get around your filters, right? Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Or at least that's how I interpreted the article. But the big problem is actually, like you said, the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, that was implemented recently. Excuse me. It was implemented, I guess, a little bit different than in Europe than in the States, or something along those lines, or at least like the fines and stuff for if it was broken, if the regulation was broken.
Okay.
Facebook could be fined up to 4% of its global revenue. Okay.
That is, yeah, that per
Or is that
no, per
sorry.
GDPR. That's what it is.
Okay, got you. Well, so yeah, dude. So if they are able to find basically that it was that the GDPR was broken, then dude, I mean, Facebook is gonna get their shit taken to, the cleaners. So, but so the worst part about all this, so that's kind of how this article somewhat wrapped up. Facebook was basically like, oh, we're looking into it, kind of thing. They said that starting or this year, they decided to up their securities division, basically doubling it from 10,000 to 20,000 people that would be working in security for digital security
for Facebook. Right.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though, man.
What's up?
Here's the deal. The argument that they are going to be making is that think about, you wouldn't need a bank, right? You would not, the purpose of a bank would, the existential purpose of a bank would completely go away if every single house came with a vault in it, a bank style vault in it. You know what I mean? Think about that for just a second, right? If this is just a mental, doing a little bit of a little
hypothetical,
a hypothetical, or just kind of mental exercise here, right?
Yeah.
If every single house and every single apartment in the United States came with a bank style vault, right, that used your own, biometrics to get into it and whatever, you may not need a bank. If your vault was also, Wells Fargo came and got the money from your bank to take to a larger from your personal bank to take to a larger central bank and whatever, right? If you took the role of the bank. So this is where Facebook is. They're going to have to make the argument that your shit is safest here, right?
Yeah.
And that's happening right now, because as systems, again, we're kind of bleeding both of these articles together, but as systems like Urbit, which a lot of people do not like Curtis Yarvin's politic, and that's flavor of politic, and that's fine. The guy's he is a controversial dude, to say the least, right? But the concept of Urbit and virtual and highly secured virtual private servers, it's coming, and it's going to be here, at scale soon. I've got a buddy that actually works at Urbit, and the technology is wild. They literally built the languages of their entire stack of technology. They started with the languages, right?
Yeah.
They're not using anyone else's libraries. They're not using any other framework. They're not using any other language.
They're literally building it up from the ground.
Absolutely. It's called Hoon is the language that they're building it in, right? Yeah. And so my point is that, and Urbit is definitely ahead of the curve, but there are many other companies that will come online and do that. So what's my point here? Facebook better be fucking hiring every security effort or every security expert that they can possibly afford, because that's the argument that they're going to have to make in the not too distant future, is that as social media becomes decentralized, and the handling of the data also becomes decentralized. This is not going to be tomorrow, but it will certainly happen on a long enough timeline. they're going to have to make that argument that they're the best place to store it. So it's like,
well, so just kind of staying or bringing us back to the Facebook stuff and kind of I guess coming back to the whole like Facebook being a bank kind of thing. Do you think that a social media company would be able to use that as their platform kind of thing, that in regards to, oh, we're going to keep your data safer like moving forward, and then they would, by using that as their platform, actually be kind of competitive with Facebook in regards to social media and, you know, people actually using it?
So that's a good question. That's a really good question. And I don't know. I'd have to think about that question. Because
it seems like that would be
depth.
A pretty, you know, because I mean, everybody at this point, everybody's like up in arms that it's like, well, shit, dude, Facebook, you know, and this actually, I want to say that this Facebook breach actually extended out to some of Facebook's or Facebook owned companies like Instagram and I think like WhatsApp and that stuff. I want to say that it actually extended out past that, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so just when you thought that it couldn't get any worse for Facebook, an article actually came out the same day that the Facebook breach thing that I just covered for TechCrunch from this is just Fight for the Future, fightforthefuture.org, and I think it's just like a let's see, nonprofit organization founded in 2011 whose mission is to ensure that the web continues to hold freedom of expression and creativity at its core. So just a little background on who was covering this shit. But anyway, so Facebook has this big breach. And of course, all the news agencies and stuff just like start picking it up and tossing stories out left and right, because you know that this is going to be super, super popular, get all your clicks in probably like one day kind of thing for the week.
Right.
Well, Facebook got caught blocking Associated Press and the Guardian, based out of the UK. And they got caught blocking their stories about the data breach.
Right.
And so, which, I mean, geez, dude, it's like, come on, Facebook, right? It's like, and,
but they can't, dude, they will not win. Like this is the most important thing the most important thing out of this. Facebook cannot win. They cannot make a decision in the current paradigm that is the right decision. They would literally have to strip down the entire way that they work. They'd
have to do what Urbit's doing.
They would have to, but they would have to be right. So that's what's interesting. Decentralizing all the things changes the way that we look at competitive advantage.
Yeah,
flat out, right? And so, and we can get into that. That's a much, much longer discussion. We can get into that on a different episode. Mm-hmm. But it changes the way that companies compete, right? And now it doesn't change the fact that there is competition, but it absolutely changes the way you go about competition. It's more like, you know, tide rises, you know, all ships follow, right? And some of those ships will be massive battleships, and then some of those ships will be teeny dinghies, but nevertheless, that's the way to think about it. So they just can't make a right decision. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, well, no, it's just they, you know, then there's this lady that writes for the New York Times in their tech like column. Her name's Kate Conger. And she had like this tweet that I'll just read it verbatim. Update: AP and Guardian links are now going through. A buddy who does anti-spam stuff, not at Facebook, says their guess is that the story spread so virally that it bumped over a spam detection threshold, which makes sense, but doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that we talked about this a little bit earlier, because you were saying, I mean, the whole concept of Facebook is virality. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it's like, how in the hell would you, I don't see how that could be more viral than like some of the other like viral videos and viral posts and all this stuff that would hit Facebook that wasn't getting blocked.
It's not, that's flat out not true.
Yeah.
That's trying to spin
in
something
Facebook's
out.
defense, this is just a dude stipulating what he thinks actually happened.
Right.
I don't think that Facebook has actually. I mean, shit, dude. Facebook's just trying to like hold their head above the water, man. It's like kind of insane. But
Yeah, man. Well, look, I mean, not to be absolutely absurd about it, but everybody in their personal and financial lives should be, in the short term, maybe not so much, but certainly in the medium to long term, in terms of kind of financial speak, you should be shorting centralization without a doubt.
Oh, 100%.
We've said the word zeitgeist a trillion damn times on the show, but that is the DNA of the next tech movement, without a doubt. Is that is that you own you, and you own the things around you. So, and so then where's the Western Front, if you will? It's the fact that people feel that way. Oh, and by the way, people feel this way but don't understand the fucking tech. So not only are they like, well, I want my privacy, but then they're like, hey Alexa, it's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You just put a live microphone in your house.
What in the
crazy? It's crazy.
Absolutely insane. But and I was trying to I think we're just gonna go ahead and cruise, but one last thing to say about Facebook. Dude, in the TechCrunch article, they wrap up the article saying Facebook has 2.2 billion monthly active users, and this was according to their second quarter earnings.
Yep.
2.2 billion. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's about 6 billion in the world.
There are 6 sexy billion people on this world.
I mean, dude.
It's so crazy.
I can't even
how sexy the human population is. Go ahead though. Yes.
No, I just can't. I cannot believe the reach of Facebook. Like, I mean, I remember using it when it was just colleges.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is and it was like, oh well, I'll check my Facebook after I get update my MySpace band page.
It's totally true. It's last night when I was having this ad tech conversation.
Yeah.
I was joking with somebody and I was like, yeah, man, like I didn't have MySpace for that long, but I had this one friend, Tom. You remember that Tom guy?
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
He's your first bud.
He was everybody's first bud.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's really funny. So if you can believe this, here, type in myspace.com. I'll wait.
Okay. Oops. Can't type with shite. Okay, I'm on it.
My point is, it's still there, right?
So I didn't realize that it still existed.
It's not only does it exist, so dig this. We'll do a slight aside here.
Tangent.
Yeah, slide aside just for fun. So there's a guy named Mike Jones, super sharp dude, runs a company.
So not the rapper.
No, his pockets don't
Mike
stick out
Jones.
more than his belly, right? Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me.
They all on me.
So Mike Jones is a technologist, lives in Los Angeles, and ran MySpace for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he runs a company called Science that's like an accelerator incubator type thing, but it's kind of a slightly different model where they've got, you basically bring them an idea, and then they build it, right? And you get a little slice, but then if they dig the idea, they actually build it and scale it and fund it and all that. So he's a super sharp guy. And anyway, long story short, I met him a couple of times while I was wrapping up at SC, and one of the conversations that he was having in this group of people was, or one of the topics that he brought up was how Facebook just did a quantitative takedown. I think those were his words, of MySpace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, funny enough, in graduate school, a Facebook engineer, or excuse me, a MySpace engineer was in my class, right? This guy was a slightly older student and had been a MySpace engineer back in the day. I think he was maybe 40, maybe 39 or 40.
Yeah.
And so what they were saying was the kind of both of these guys together, no longer associated with MySpace, but they were saying that at MySpace, Facebook had adopted this idea where they said, okay, we want to make sure that we are leaning into and supporting as best we can the stickiest accounts on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what they would say is that you could look at a kind of heat map of interaction, and you could say, okay, there are 15 new people that signed up, and 3 of those people are connected to the same person and continue to view that person's profile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then, so what I'm saying is they quantitatively determined the concept of an influencer, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
What they were doing was treating those influencers' accounts differently. The information that those influencers got, the information that people got from those influencers was different than other accounts that were less influencing, right?
Wow,
and so
man.
what the MySpace engineers said is they were like, we were watching this happen and we could not do shit about it because our systems were built in a much different way, right? And so he was saying, like, we were like, oh shit, we're dead. And that was like years before they were dead, right?
Yeah. Well, dude, it's like something that we've talked about, I feel like, ad nauseum on here, that it's just like, dude, technology is always going to outrun like legislation and all that.
It is, and it's I keep talking about this conversation that I had last night, and then we'll get over to the next couple of articles here, but that was something that somebody was saying at this little get together is it's like tech always outpaces kind of the human reaction to it. You better hold on to your ass when that happens with true AI. Because dude, like the genie, once that genie is out of the bottle.
Yeah.
And actually, to that point, I'm going to share with you just a quick little conspiracy theory that I say conspiracy, but kind of future talk conspiracy shit that one of my buddies brought up the other day, and I thought this was really interesting. So one of the interesting things about blockchain systems that are using blockchain protocol is these are really anti-fragile, highly persistent networks, right? Meaning that because every node that is in this network has a copy of what's happening in the protocol, a node can go offline and it doesn't matter. The system still persists, right? Unlike AWS, for example, if you go kill the servers that are hosting the information for your company, your website's dead, right? Your company's data is dead. And so this idea was, what if AI already exists, right? A la like a super advanced version of like Stuxnet, which was the virus that some nation states, some people think it was Israel, some people think it was the United States, some people think it was both. Somebody created Stuxnet at a pretty penny and got Stuxnet into an air-gapped facility in Iran, right? The facility in Iran was enriching uranium. Stuxnet laid dormant in this computer system for like a month or so, came to life and started wreaking havoc in the computer system. And for the sake of this conversation, was hiding, if you will, actively monitoring and hiding as people were trying to debug this thing and figure out what was up. So they were like, think about like an AI system that's like Stuxnet on super mega crazy steroids, right?
Mm-hmm.
That created blockchain so that it could create a persistent network for itself to live on, right? And so,
dude, I feel like you just like described the like probably a 2019, 2020 sci-fi thriller.
well, so dig this, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is.
Yeah, the dude for Bitcoin.
It's probably Nick Szabo, but people don't know.
Yeah.
So think about that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the genie's already out of the bottle, and it's just like creating a nest for itself, dude. That's some crazy shit, man.
Yeah. Well, dude, we know that AI exists because Mark Zuckerberg exists.
This is true.
Most robotic, artificially intelligent individual ever.
Yeah. Well, his
and if you want to question us, just get on Facebook and look at his water sipping montages.
Yeah, his water sipping montage and his like lack of blinking. You know,
must consume water like other humans.
Do not forget, they're thinking you're parched. You know? Gulk, 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 gulk. Water
too fast, too slow, must regulate.
Water chamber is filling. You know?
Water chambers.
Senators, I need to relieve my water chamber. They're like, excuse me, Mark, I need to use the restroom. They're like, oh,
senators, I need to void my water chamber. I'm at maximum capacity.
Max capacity.
My nutsack's about to explode.
They're like, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know what a bladder is, you know? The head of Facebook thinks that his water is kept in his scrotum. Boy, we've got a bigger fucking problem than we thought. I mean, geez.
Oh my God.
I'm glad that didn't happen. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this hacking theme go on. This next one is a mind roaster. Like gourd splitter, mind roaster. What the fuck at like scale, okay?
Yeah.
So this article is from Bloomberg. It is a long form article, which, by the way, Daniel, I don't know if you caught this in this thing. In the middle of the article, you can click on these SoundCloud links that read the article to you.
That's weird.
Well,
nah,
you remember us talking about this?
Yeah.
So it's happening. By the way, Daniel and I are huge. We're just big fans of obviously of technology and certainly media technology. And we were talking the other day. I think we've had this on on our show. Long form is coming back for sure. It's gonna happen. And the way that we will squeeze long form into our busy lives is by having these dictated. Excuse me, pardon me. These little dictator widgets or whatever on these things. Anyway, on the websites. So, long story short, it has been discovered that Chinese supply chains, right, have included Chinese supply chains that service some fairly interesting companies have been including in product a little something extra. Okay. And what they've been including is called a signal conditioner. Okay. And so basically what the signal conditioner can do is it can communicate with a computer to tell that computer to take a look at what's happening wherever it's positioned. Okay. This signal conditioner, you guys, there is at the top of the Bloomberg article, they have a computer board, a motherboard that they strip down and show you the size of this signal conditioner. Okay. You scroll down a little bit more. It's on somebody's finger. Dude, this thing is like a third of a grain of rice.
Yeah.
It
I
is
mean, literally, you can set and I've never even heard this term, but a super micro like chip kind of thing. That it's literally, I mean, dude, it's mind boggling how small this is.
so they found these things at Apple. They found these things in Amazon, right? Those are just some of the big names, okay? So you get down into this article and they start talking about, so let me just read, there's a little flow chart, okay, that explains like basically what was going on. So long story short, the Chinese military designed and manufactured these microchips. So they're thinking, right?
Yeah.
So let me just read this to you, right? How the hack worked according to U.S. officials. Step 1. A Chinese military unit designed and manufactured microchips as small as a sharpened pencil tip. Some of the chips were built to look like signal conditioning couplers, and they incorporated memory networking capability, right? That's what I was talking about about connecting to other computers. And I misspoke. They were built to look like signal conditioning couplers. I misspoke and called them a signal conditioning coupler. But the functionality was connecting to basically networking the motherboards that they were positioned on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the chips were built to look like signal conditioning couplers, and they incorporated memory, networking capability, and sufficient processing power for an attack. The microchips were inserted at Chinese factories that supplied Supermicro, one of the world's biggest seller of server motherboards, right? The compromised motherboards were built into servers assembled by Supermicro. The sabotaged servers made their way inside data centers operated by dozens of companies. When a server was installed and switched on, the microchip altered the operating system's core so it could accept modifications. The chip could also contact computers controlled by the attackers in search of further instructions and code.
So literally, they put this thing on motherboards that ended up at, I mean, dude, I feel like it would be safe to extrapolate out past Amazon and Apple, probably say Google maybe, or
dude, I will put it this way.
Facebook.
If somebody is not fessing up to this, that they knew about this, it's for PR. These fucking things were everywhere.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
And so
they can literally modify how a server is running.
That's right. So this is I don't want to there are many aspects of this article that will blow your mind. You should comb through this article, faithful listeners, and dig this with a damn shovel, because it is wild. But something else I wanted to bring up. This is why when people say like, oh man, like the administration, they're really like smack. And by the way, I want to take Trump out of what I'm getting ready to say. This is not a political statement that I'm making here, right? But when an administration is, smacking another country around with things like brutal trade arrangement, right? Brutal suggestions for a way a trade agreement should change. Just understand that there are levels that we cannot possibly imagine, right?
Yeah.
So, no, it is not about, car imports. Of course not. Like, what? That's not the way that the world works. We are like in a full-on, 3D chess environment. Hell, maybe even 4 or 5D, depending on how many attack angles there are here. Environment all the time.
Yeah.
Period. And so that is incredibly important to really think about, right? Like one of the goals of Tether Radio is to talk about the absurd and the wacky and the weird and the whatever, but it's also to just have a conversation in an approachable way that digs in just a little bit deeper, right? In just a really approachable way. And so, I hope that that's one of the big takeaways from this article is that the world that we live in today is so multi-layered and multifaceted, and what it takes to, have borders that are, or I don't even say borders, what it takes to have, to be in a situation where your citizens have a competitive advantage, right? Like where you're kind of securing that for the people that are, again, associate with the same nation state or whatever. Like, that is a complicated bowl of spaghetti, man. And it's who knows. So anyway, it's just this article was just mind bending. These things are everywhere. The technology that it took to manufacture these and to build the functionality into them is astonishing, and it's even more interesting when you zoom out and think about some of the recent happenings or some of the recent ways that the relationship between the United States and China has been changing. And it really begs the question that, why, right? Like, why all of a sudden, has this been, is it really because, as the Trump administration says, that, we've been getting an unfair shake? Or is it because, there is this data Cold War that has been festering? But there's been like some aggressive action in the South China Sea recently. China, there's some interesting finance news. China's very insular in how they talk about their country. And so anyway, there's just been some interesting happenings there. It looks like China's going to implement a big bailout because the economy is kind of slowing. And so it's just this is going to be a really fascinating next, I think, 6 to 9 months in that relationship. And I think things like this are coloring the whole damn thing stem to stern. And frankly, shout out to Bloomberg, man. This article is fantastic. So,
dude, it really is. I was just kind of blowing through it because I didn't have time this week to really cover the articles to read through the articles that you're leading.
Yeah,
today.
I'm gonna tweet to them right now and thank them for this, because this is a great article.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I just saw at the end of here that they figured that there were around 7,000 servers in Apple's network by the time the company's security team found the added chips. Which, I mean, that's that is insane.
Yeah,
that is absolutely insane, dude. But anyway, so cruising on from, I guess this is a hack heavy article, but
a hack heavy episode.
Episode. I'm sorry. And so cruising on from China implanting secret chips. We're gonna go back to putting the consumer in the spotlight. I picked up this article from Vice, which I guess it's their tech column or whatever, that it's called Motherboard. But yeah, dude. So the article's called "The Rise of Netflix Competitors Has Pushed Consumers Back Toward Piracy." Well,
okay. Oh, interesting. And it gets into Tors.
What's up?
Yeah. Go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
You mean torrents?
Yeah,
dude. So, with everybody, which I thought this was absolutely fascinating, because I kind of saw this coming to a degree, but it's also one of those things like, okay, you have all these people these days that are cutting cords, and it's like, okay, I know that a lot of my friends don't have cable packages anymore. Like, all they do is they have really solid internet, and then they have one or two streaming services. Like, for instance, they either have Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Go, that kind of stuff. Well, there's been a huge push by all these streaming services to start putting out exclusive content or original content kind of thing. So I know in this article they were talking about, for instance, Game of Thrones for HBO Go, and then House of Cards for Netflix, The Handmaid's Tale for Hulu, Jack Ryan for Amazon. And you can't get any of those shows on any of the other services. Well, so they started this company or organization called Sandvine, did a global internet phenomena report.
Okay.
And so they kind of just looked at how at basically who's pulling data, who's putting out data, on all these different networks. Well, so back in, let's see, it was 2011. They had 52% of upstream traffic was attributed to basically BitTorrent.
Okay.
Well, so everybody wanted to crack down on, and I'm sorry, I think I misspoke. File sharing comprised 3% of the global data that was being exchanged, and then of that 3%, 52% of it was BitTorrent.
Okay.
So anyway, so that was when these companies started doing this push to have exclusive content and basically try to get more people to subscribe. Well, now what has happened is it's gone so much in that direction that in order to get all the shows that you used to be able to watch on different, streaming services, you have to literally be subscribed to all the streaming services, which has put the bottom line back up for the consumer to, I mean, shit, dude, if you have like a subscription for all the previous services that I mentioned, I mean, dude, you're looking at probably close to what you'd be paying for cable,
Right.
If not, maybe even more. And so what this company found is in 2011 it was 52%, and then they started all these streaming services started making it affordable to get streaming content,
Right.
And so it dipped down to 26% in 2015. Well, once 2015 rolled around, like I said, all these companies are trying to, or all these streaming content providers are trying to get, more subscribers. So what do? They do the original content that you can only get on their service. Well, so this Sandvine found that there's been an uptick recently in BitTorrent accounts, that it went from roughly 26% in 2015 to where we've gone up to right around 32%. So they're basically saying that, hey, what's happening is people are getting sick of basically, these companies saying, oh yeah, here's this great program, get you hooked on this program, and then it's like, okay, you can only see it on Netflix,
right?
Or you can only see it on Hulu,
right?
Kind of an example would be Disney. Disney's going to be launching, I believe, in either later 2018 or early 2019. They're going to have their own exclusive Disney streaming service,
right?
And they're pulling everything Disney off of Netflix. So now, if you want anything Disney, you'll have to subscribe to Disney.
So isn't this just
What's up?
Isn't this just like cable?
And dude, that's what everybody said.
I mean, well,
because it's basically, it's like, oh, so you made everything great, and now you're just like, people could sign up for the whatever Netflix or Hulu or HBO Go or Netflix,
right,
or whatever.
Right. Well,
and now it's like, if you actually want to see all the shit that you've been watching over the years, then you're gonna have to get each one exclusively.
That's the part that for me has been so hilarious about these huge disruptive movements, right?
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this shit, but
Uh-huh.
have you seen the company Firefly that's doing business with Uber? Have you seen this? And that,
Oh yeah, they have the things on top of the cars.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I've
But
got
go ahead and recap what
yes.
Firefly is.
So Firefly is it's a lighted marquee, a lighted display
Mm-hmm.
that fits on the top of an Uber or Lyft car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically just a lighted display, yeah, that fits on top of like a bike rack or a luggage rack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a network that once these things are up on these cars, advertisements stream across these things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was laughing the other day, so I had to a buddy of mine, and actually I'm gonna totally give his company a plug because this guy's smart as shit and is a great idea. An engineer that I worked with for a while in Venice, a guy named Julian, has started a company called Block, Block. And basically what this group does is they're a concierge service for people that are apartment hunting in metro areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you've got a job, your job keeps you busy as shit. The whole process of getting an apartment is a super bummer, right? You got to go look at these places and you don't know if the pictures are really accurate with what the spot that you're going to look, and it's just time consuming and whatever. So for a very reasonable fee, what they do is they handle all of that. Like you send them pictures of places that you've liked or lived in the past, and then you send them things you need, like you need a commute time or a grocery store that's close or whatever, and they run it through some software that Julian has built, and they optimize for what you're looking for. So very, very, very cool company. And then they do everything but sign the lease for you, right? And so Julian was dropping me off at the airport. Anyway, the company's called Block. Block, I think it's Block, block.com or blockhq.com. We'll drop a link in our show notes. But he was dropping me off at the airport, and he was like, there were just a crazy number of Ubers, right? And he's like looking around, and he's like, so we're just right back to taxis, right? Right?
Oh, dude, totally.
And I was like looking at it, and I looked at him, and I was like, not really. I was like, but you know what? That brings up a really interesting idea. I think we should make Uber and Lyft paint all their cars yellow so that they stand out a little bit more, right? Like, I mean, fuck, of course. Like we're absolutely back to the original model. And now, you've got this thing where it's like, like taxi driving just became something where it was commodity.
Well, you basically just removed the dispatcher. That's it.
Yeah, you did.
To a degree, right?
That's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just like looking around. He was like, "Well, that didn't last long,"
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. I love this shit. But anyway, I thought this article was really interesting, Daniel, because we're back to cable.
Dude. Well, I mean, and which is exactly what everybody kind of saw coming, because it was like, you were able to, for instance, I think HBO was like one of the front runners, that it was like, you can just sign up for HBO Go and get HBO programming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, I think that everybody else followed suit. I think you can do that for like, maybe not, but I'm not 100%, but like ESPN or, like all the Nickelodeon franchise stuff or something like that, I mean, it really is. It's just, we've basically taken the cable packages and we split them apart for a little bit, and now we're basically just kind of putting them back together and just under the guise of streaming as opposed to cable.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, it's true. And anybody who has Twitter, go and follow the account Shitty Future right now. It is, there are two. There's one that's called Internet of Shit, and there's one called Shitty Future.
I think I follow Internet of Shit.
Oh, dude, Internet of Shit is just absurd IoT, right?
Yeah.
And then Shitty Future If you don't, you need to go right now and get on Shitty Future, because it's really, really, really incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming in.
Well, so yeah, dude, let's cruise to this last one and wrap, because it looks like we're coming around the bend.
Absolutely. So, all right. So this last article was really just something that we thought was kind of interesting. There's a text that has been, I couldn't find a date here. I don't know if it was recently released or has been around for a while, but it's called Sans Forgetica, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sans Forgetica is a font that's been designed to help you remember your study notes. Okay. So the idea of Sans Forgetica is that it's actually harder to read. Okay.
Yeah. So you're paying attention harder.
But there is a level of desirable difficulty, right? When you're reading info that helps you to retain that information. Okay. And so all these behavioral scientists in Australia, this guy named Stephen Barnham was one of them, have developed this thing called Sans Forgetica. And it's just, you look at it and basically it's like kind of a thicker font with chunks of the letters taken out. So it's just really interesting, because as you read through this, I actually, you can download the font, right? So I downloaded it and put a couple of articles into it just to read them. And I wouldn't say that it really slows your reading down, but you are definitely more engaged. You know, you're definitely just thinking about the letter. So anyway, we've got this up on our show notes.
That's crazy, though. Just the thought that goes into creating a font.
Look,
you know,
there's so much hyper specialization in the world that it is safe to assume almost anything that you're looking at has been thought about deeply.
Yeah.
You know, I as I said last night, we were at this my wife's in the entertainment industry, and we were at this get together. There's like a big film equipment convention that's in town, and I was chatting with somebody that was a director on some interesting shows, and we were talking about how, if you really think about what a film is, hundreds of artists have come together and contributed their own piece for this one thing, right? And so there is absolutely nothing in a film, in a well-made film, let me be more specific, that has not been thought about, right?
And so that is not intentional.
And that is not intentional. I mean, some things get squibbed where it's like, whatever, Brad Pitt eating eating something, and then the frame, you cut away to another scene, you come back and there's like more food on his plate or whatever. There are definitely some things that get squibbed, but for the most part, you've got hundreds of
I hate when there are inconsistencies with food continuity.
Yeah, man. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with. I can see. Man, no, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. No fucking way. Inexcusable. You got to get that right. So anyway, Sans Forgetica. It's totally diggable, super cool. If you're studying at uni and you wanna get one in and see if it helps you on your next pop quiz hotshot, download it and see what's up. So
that's super cool.
This has been episode 17?
Dude, I think we're on 18,
Episode 18? Okay.
Yeah.
This has been episode 18 of Tether Radio, and we thank you for joining us. Just a quick reminder that if you liked something that you heard, you hated something that you heard, you just want to send a nice note, maybe a tip on something interesting that you've read or seen lately, or even want to put a tinfoil hat on and talk about some crazy shit that you've been thinking about, you can send it over to tetherradio@gmail.com, TETHER radio and of course, if we decide to include anything from our mail, we do give shout outs. So
and credit will be given where credit is due.
That is exactly right, because in this decentralized world, value must go to the originator. And so, or in the world, hopefully, that we're hurtling towards. So you can find us on Twitter at Tether_radio, Instagram at Tether_radio. It's the same handle. And you can find us on Mark Zuckerberg's face probe at Tether Radio, all one word. So yeah, man, episode 18, we will have this thing ready to ship early next week, and we hope that you enjoy it. And we will be back with both fists for episode 19. So this has been Tether Radio Podcast. I'm Joseph,
and I'm Daniel,
and we thank you for joining us. And until next time, stay tethered, peeps.
Do it to it, guys, and catch you next week.